This is Garren, and you are now tuned in to the collab. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. We are back. Another season, the collab. I'm here with my guest, Garren. How you doing today, bro?
I'm great, bro. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Of course. So, were you able to watch the playoffs?
Yes, of course.
Who are you going for?
I'm a Laker fan in its entirety.
Yeah.
So I really don't care for anybody else outside the Lakers.
Yeah.
But I wanted Jason Tatum to win.
Yeah.
Not the Celtics.
Yeah.
But I wanted Jason Tatum to win.
Yeah.
And he did. I'm kind of glad he didn't win, because if he did, that means the Celtics won.
Right.
And I hate the Celtics.
Yeah, we gotta.
So I'm kind of cool with Golden State being the champions.
Yeah, congrats to them. But yeah, bro, where you from?
I'm from South Central and Compton. I kind of split my life up between those two as far as living situation. And I can't denounce either or. So I always have to say South Central and Compton.
Yeah. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school on Slauson and Crenshaw. It's called View Park High School.
Okay. When did how was like the household around? Like when you were younger, was there like music involved? How were you introduced to like music?
Church.
Like that?
So church was a big influence in my music career. I have an auntie. Her name is Auntie Krista. She's like everybody in the West Coast auntie. And she kind of nurtured us with music. And God blessed her to see our gifts and bring it out of us.
Right.
So it wasn't in my household, but it was definitely in my everyday living, because my mom was making sure that she trained up a child in the way they should go.
Right.
So when I get older, I wouldn't depart from it.
Right. Were you like introduced to like any instruments? You play piano, guitar?
Yeah, I play instruments. I'm a drummer initially, but I know how to play keys and guitar and bass, and I know how to fiddle around a little bit to get the job done. When it comes to keys, bass, I say I'm an in-studio performer.
Right.
Meaning I can mess up, get it right eventually. When it comes to drums, I can do a live show in an hour if you show me the music.
Right. That's dope. Do you remember like the first song that you wrote?
Yes, I do. It was called Sidekick.
Sidekick?
Well, actually, my first song that I wrote and produced was called Thank You, Jesus, when I was 8 years old. And I wrote and produced it. And it was a gospel song, and I was in a gospel band, and we toured a lot on the Christianity religious side.
Right.
And like I said, my auntie, she, implanted this mindset that we need to be perfectionists and be clean and really hone in on our craft and zone in on our craft so we can be professionals when we get older. And that's exactly what transpired.
Right. So when you were 8, like growing up, was like sports introduced, or was it just like the focus was just on music?
Well, my mom put me and my younger brother into football because I grew up without a father, and she felt like I would be around a lot of men who could be good influences in my life as a man, because she didn't know how to teach me to be a man when she's a woman, which is understandable. So it wasn't forced upon me. It was just more like an outlet. Like, I really need my sons to be influenced in a positive, manly way. So let me put them in Pop Warner football.
Right. Okay.
And that's where she kind of took that angle from. And it worked, and it was very successful.
Did you have like any like teachers you looked up to like growing up? Like, because you talk about that influence. Was it in like different people, or did you look up to just one person?
No, I had plenty of influences that I looked up to. I didn't necessarily follow them, but I looked up to them. And I did my own thing, and I had my own mind. and my own thoughts on life, but they definitely influenced the way I think and the way I move.
Right.
Even though I still did things on my own, they still had power over what I felt and the effect that came from moving on my own.
Right. So growing up, you had to like learn how to do a couple things on your own. Like when did the traction start to pick up, like with music? How did you when did you know like this is 100%, I'm going in all in for
When
it?
I was 11 and I wrote that song called Sidekicks. Sidekicks were popular at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
the phone sidekick.
Yeah, so it was like a song called I Wanna Put You on My Sidekick, yeah, so we can LOL-OMG, yeah. Said I got my aim on you, hope you got your aim on me. Sometimes I don't be signed on, but you know my text is free. And that was literally the...
That's dope, that you still remember that too.
I'm never gonna forget it. It was my first secular song that I wrote. And you know, I was talking about a girl,
right,
or whatever, like aiming me and sidekick. And, you know, AIM was like the first Gmail.
Right.
So, you know, just...
Who were like some influences? Like I feel
Brandy
like
is my favorite singer.
Brandy, okay.
Michael Jackson, you can never forget him.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, James Brown, Stevie Wonder, all these different people who I won't say forced to listen to, but I had no choice because they were the hots.
Right.
Of the world when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And when you 2, 3 and your parents or your uncles or whoever is listening to Michael and this and that, you know, you obviously can't help but to hear it. But my mom used to make sure we heard gospel and that we were super influenced by the way of God. And she didn't really listen to all the secular music at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't even say really. She didn't at all, actually. And that also helped with my range and my ability to actually be a crooner, as they say now, and belting notes out and stuff like that. That's the gospel music. J. Moss, Karen Clark Sheard, the Clark sisters, Dorinda Clark, I said J. Moss, Kirk Franklin, Donnie McClurkin. Those different people I had to listen to. I had to learn the songs in church.
Yeah.
However I came about their songs, it was like inevitable at that point.
Yeah, no, I know my mom always listened to Kirk Franklin.
Yeah,
the gospel.
I couldn't help it. Like I had to know who they were.
Yeah, that's important. With coming out of high school, like what were some goals like musically? Because I know you're not only, you know, a singer but songwriter too. Like the pen is really good. So what the day that you graduated high school, what were some goals that you planned on hitting that summer?
I didn't have no goals to hit, but I just always had a goal to be somebody that people looked up to, that spoke a good message, and that actually cared about the music and wasn't just in it for the money or the fame,
right,
or the girls or the cars or the clothes or everything that comes with it. And I just always had a goal to speak a message.
right.
So if anything, it wasn't about something tangible, it was about more spiritual, like what am I talking about? How am I affecting people? How am I influencing people? And I always wanted to just be this positive artist that was able to influence people and on a higher level than what I was used to hearing on the radio.
Right. That's crazy. Like who do you feel like, because I know you said Brandy, but like besides the gospel, like when did you like venture out to other genres? Like how did you get into like R&B? Yeah,
at 11 years old, I was 11 or 12, I think Brandy came out with an album called Human. And don't get me wrong, I was hearing stuff all before that, but I didn't care. I was just like football and sports and just being a kid.
Right.
When I got about 11, 12 years old, I started realizing like these people, it's certain people who are actually like really good and great, and then it's just people who do music because they had an opportunity or they got a deal or whatever.
Right.
And around 11 or 12 is when I started realizing how good Brandy was with her ability to sing. Reminded me of Whitney Houston.
Right.
I knew about Whitney Houston, but I didn't pay attention to her when I was 5 and 6 and 7. I didn't care.
Right.
But Brandy made me realize how good you can be as a vocalist, and I started talking about love and affection and, you know, just being more open-minded to secular music.
Right. That's crazy. So when you, because like I said, songwriter too, when did the opportunity, RP Nipsey, but when did the opportunity of Victory Lab come up? How were you?
I was randomly like just living my life. I had put out this song called Wrong Way. Nipsey called me at like 6:30, 7 in the morning. Mm-hmm. On three-way with my, one of my brothers. His name is Robin Hood. Mm-hmm. He grew up in, you know, the same kind of conditions that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. He understands a lot of spectrums of music, and he basically just put me and Nipsey on three-way, and Nip was like, pull up to the studio, I heard your song, it was super dope, like, I want to see what you can do. Mm-hmm. I'm working on an album. And from there, it was just history. I mean, It took 4 days to do it. And my pride almost got in the way because I sat there for 3 days and did nothing and just watched. Mm-hmm. And my pride almost got in the way, like, man, he called me up here to do something, and I've just been sitting here watching. Mm-hmm. But something in me told me to go for that 4th day. And I went, and that's when I recorded Dedication. I recorded Dedication in 5 minutes. Mm. And from there, it was just, he got up out of his seat, and he was like, yo, that's it.
Right.
Do that better, execute that, but that's it. And we went from there, and I was, you know, I've been knowing Nipsey for a long time, since my 9th grade year in high school, which was like 2008. Mm-hmm. And my family is 1500 or nothing. That's my family. I'm a part of 1500 or nothing as well. And they were some of his biggest influences early on in his career when it comes to music, that I've always ran in or seen Nipsey at some point in my life. Right. I always was seeing him. So it wasn't super fresh, like I don't know him, he just called me one day. No.
Right.
There's a lot of politics in between the way he was able to call my phone at 7 a.m. and we never talked on the phone ever. Yeah.
How was his energy in the studio? Like, how were you able to, because I know you said the first 3 days, you know, it wasn't hitting, and finally that opportunity came.
He's very consistent with his energy. Mm-hmm. Super chill. He don't rush. He doesn't care about money or time.
Right.
He cares about perfection. Mm-hmm. So a lot of his moves were made based off of how he wanted to perfect his craft. Mm-hmm. It wasn't based off money or time. He'll spend however much money he need, and he'll spend however much time he need. Mm-hmm. Away or in the studio. Mm-hmm. As long as he was getting the product he wanted, that was his goal.
Right.
Everything else kind of was like fluctuating. So.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to spend more money. Okay, I said we would be done, and at this point, we're not. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
He was predicated on perfection.
Right.
And I love that about him.
Right.
And I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he's a very dope artist, especially he was independent for so long and then finally signing. But
and he still was independent when he signed.
Oh, well, he was? Oh,
technically. Wow. I mean, he partnered with people, so he brought people onto his idea. Mm-hmm. Of how he wanted his career, and that was very special.
Yeah.
Because that was a very ideal situation for any artist, the way he did his deal.
Right.
And I won't go into his details that I do know, because you know that's not my place. But right. he definitely curated his own deal. That wasn't like a, hey, Nip, we got this deal for you. No, he said, this is what I want from you guys, because I can prove this, and I can prove this, and I can prove that.
Yeah, it's powerful.
And, you know, that's very powerful.
Yeah, because he's been pushing that for a long time. But how did so first it was Nipsey, and then you got J. Cole. How did you get on the Dreamers album?
One of my friends, his name is Kaz. I met him through some other friends who were Mies and Louis Louis G. They're really great producers. They brought me to Kai's house. Me and him did a song. We thought that was gonna be the song on this album. I ended up pulling up to Interscope Records with Kai's. Like months after that, his album was about to be done. We ended up just cutting a record. He ended up really liking it. His team ended up liking it. Eve, the president of Dreamville, ended up really liking it. J. Cole ended up really liking it. And it was like, no, you should put this song on it instead of that song. And then that came about like that. That same night, actually, Kaz introduced me to Schoolboy Q as well. So every relationship I always have is organic. Yeah. It's never forced. Networking. It's never like, it's never like, hey, he's an artist, you should meet him. Like, it's always like, oh, this the homie Garren. He cool, he can sing, he dope. He from LA, from the city. Or, you know, I mean, I worked with Nas, who ain't from LA, so it wasn't about he from LA, he from the city. So it's just super organic. It's always organic. It's never a forced situation. And then from there, Kaz brought me on tour. From the tour, they had the Dreamville invitations. And I just hit them up like, yo, like, give me an invitation, please. So because I built the relationship with them prior was the reason why I was able to get an invitation. I ended up coming on day 12 out of 15. So I came super late. So to be on that project was a blessing. To be on that Revenge of the Dreamers 3 is, you know, that album was a blessing for me because in most cases, there's people who was there from day 1 to day 15 who didn't get on the album. So I know that God had his hand over my life and my calling and my gift to allow me to be a part of something that was so monumental. Because J. Cole got like 30 people Grammy nominated who probably would never see a Grammy nomination depending on your circumstance. Yeah.
So here at the collab, I want to like impress upon the people like how important networking is. Like, how important you feel that is? As you mentioned, like you met several friends that met other friends. Like, how do you feel networking is important and why like people should do it, like especially in this music industry?
I think the biggest key to networking is not trying to network. I think the biggest key to networking is trying to see how you can help, trying to see where a person's mind is, where a person's mood is. Not trying to see how y'all can help each other. How can I, or let me not say help each other, but how can I benefit off of you? Or how can you benefit off of me? It's more, how you feeling today? You got kids? Like, real life things that you would really talk to your cousin or your brother or your sister or your mother about.
Before asking for something.
Before talking about music. Most of my relationships are not about music. And trust me, if I took that angle of trying to make everything about music, it's so many more people I'm connected to that I probably could be on that album or their project or be in their face or take a picture or all these things if I tried to take the angle of music. But then that could turn somebody away because they feel like you're not there for who they are, you're there for what they do. And I think a big part of networking is being able to stand who someone is and not what they do. So a lot of times I'll connect, I have a daughter, I'll connect with people based on the fact that we just both have kids.
Simple things.
And then they respect me, like, because I know your story, I know who you are, I don't know what you do. And I honestly don't care what you do at this point because I know who you are. And I'm appreciative of who you are. So that's a big thing on networking for me.
So on that note, like who do you like to work with? Like who are some producers, artists that, you know, top of the line that, you know, like I just said, Nipsey, J. Cole to like people that are Kendrick too?
Kendrick, because me, Nipsey, and Kendrick on the same record. I didn't really get to work with Kendrick personally, but I'm almost sure that Kendrick knows who I am. Almost is the key word. Because I'm not sure 100%, but I'm almost sure that Kendrick knows who I am. And outside of the artists I worked with, J. Cole, Nipsey, Kendrick, Nas, Hit Boy, Dom Kennedy, Pac-Man, J Stone, Norega. How do you pronounce his name? I don't know.
I think it's Norega.
Norega. I think it's Norega. Jeezy, Keisha Cole, The Game, Wife and Lucci, BJ Chicago Kid, Buddy. The list goes on and on. Guap Dad, Smino. I mean, it gets crazy. The producers, my arsenal is like super crazy of people that I can just call on. 1500 Nothing, Rants. James Fauntleroy, my big brother, super legendary writer. My cousin Brody Brown, super legendary producer. Robin Hood, G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe OMG. Man, my little brother Jermaine, super incredible. My big brother Greg, super incredible.
Is there any like upcoming?
My guy Mars.
Oh,
like I mean, the upcoming is just upcoming. But as far as the people who already like put their names, like my cousin Brody Brown, his name is in the cement at the Crypto.com arena now. But the Staples Center, his name is in the cement.
Oh, bro.
Like a Hollywood star. I mean, this is my cousin I grew up in church. That can literally do the same interview and say the same things I'm saying. And this is the soil that is so fertile that I come from.
Right.
So the list goes on when it comes to the producers, writers, artists that I'm connected to, just because of the people that come before me that help set down the platform for me.
Yeah, and then I see that you also have an album releasing this Friday.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I'm feeling awesome. I'm super independent, so I'm just glad that I use my own money to make videos, use my own money to promote, use my own money to put album release, live performance and activations as an artist. It's a blessing from God, really, because he showed me the way through my experiences. He allowed me to go through certain experiences just to be able to know how to curate my own events and curate my own album, curate my own press release. Everything that I know how to do it came from God directly, but indirectly he used other people to allow me to gain the knowledge and experience to make it wisdom because I applied it.
And then the name of the album is This?
This What You Want, with a question mark.
Right. So what is your meaning behind that?
I think the meaning behind This What You Want is asking myself, do I really want to go through what it takes to be an artist in the way that the people want me to look like, or do I want to be pure and genuine with what I actually feel my purpose is? And the question is no, this is not what I want. I don't want to go through what it takes to be an artist, quote unquote, compared to what I believe my purpose is.
Right.
So that's what this album is questioning. It's heavily relationship based because I feel like I betrayed my relationship personally with my significant other for the sacrifice of trying to be who I'm trying to be today in music. So that's where it derives from, but it's a broad question in life. Like, do you really want this the way that the people want to see you, or do you want this the way that God intends?
Right.
So that's why, just throwing it out there, maybe my next album might be called No.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm joking, but maybe I'm not. You know, who
Just
knows?
feeding off the energy.
Just feeding off the energy of like, you know, just keeping everything normal, because that's my brand. It's normal.
Yeah. So, because I know you like showing love to like different artists and producers. Like, do you have any guys that you're coming up with, like that you?
Yeah. So, my little brother, I told you, Jermaine, he's super talented. He sings way better than me. my older brother Greg sings and plays way better than all of us.
Right.
I got a homie named DeMar Jackson. He's really dope. Naquan Reese, Jacob Lattimore. Jacob Lattimore is actually huge. But
Oh yeah, the R&B scene.
yeah, he's huge. But these are just people I'm coming up with. And then I got my homeboy XO, my homeboy GB from Denver. And these are just people who are like, I believe in strongly and think that they're going to do something huge in life and their endeavors that I believe are going to be something great.
Yeah, I think we actually got XO, GB in the studio right now.
Yeah, they're here. Yeah, I wanted to introduce y'all to them, especially on camera. I know we had a chance to briefly talk, but that's definitely them who I want to introduce you. XO, GB, my niggas.
Yes. How you doing, buddy?
Second time to try.
Right. But they was asking me about certain artists and producers or people that I respect and, you know, admire when it comes to what they do that's coming up.
Right.
That's not necessarily super big or, you know what I mean? But, you know, I just want you to ask them away so we can, you know, get it from the horse's mouth instead of me trying to speak on them. They right here.
Yeah, first and foremost, like, introduce you guys. Introduce yourselves.
It's the deal, man. I go by the name of Poppa XO, a.k.a. the Ghetto Soul Child, man. I'm from Westmont, California. It's a small section in South Central, you know, one of the trenches in Cali, you know what I'm saying? Grateful to be here, man.
I'm GB, producer, Colorado Springs, Colorado, about 30 minutes outside Denver. Just tapping in.
Yeah, like, when did you guys start, when did music get into your guys' lives? Like,
I started doing music in, like, 2015. Really, it wasn't even my dream. It was my best friend's dream. He got shot and killed June 5th, 2014. And prior to his death, one day I was just young, went around doing what I was doing, and we was in the garage. He had a garage or whatever. He was getting ready to go to the studio. Matter of fact, back then he was working with Ron Ron before Ron Ron got real big. You know who Ron Ron is? Yeah, for Draco and so we was finna go to Ron Ron studio. He was playing a track. He was like, man, tell me how this sound. I want to know how this sound. He started going crazy. And I'm just a young nigga just drunk. You feel me? I'm in there drunk. He finished. And I just started freestyling. I promise you, bro, I can't tell you what I talked about. I can't tell you a melody or nothing that was so intriguing for him. But he was just like mad crazy about the freestyle. Like, you know, he started pumping me up. Like, bro, you need to do music with me, man. I want to get you in the track. And I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was just like, bro, you know, music, your thing. I ain't really too much care to do it. Prior to, though, my pops had a deal in '96 with Priority Records, you know, so he was signed to a group. He one of 3 of the Young Murder Squad, you know, they was under the South Central Cartel, and they wanted to, you know, mogul groups of the '90s out of California, and so I didn't have studios in every single house that I didn't ever lived in, like whether I was in an apartment building or small house, every house we always had studios in, and I was just, you know, not into music. I played football, you know, football was my dream, and you know, losing my best friend and just hearing how much he believed in me. He seen some in me that I didn't see in myself, you know, and it made me pursue it. And I did a track called Better Than My Ex in 2016, followed by another track called Dead Homies Part 2. And it kind of set the city off on fire, man. Both of them got over 500,000 plays. And that's what kind of boosted me up, like, okay, yeah, you could really, really do something, you know what I'm saying? And from there, you know, I just been all gas, no brakes.
okay.
I actually started thinking about music in 2019. I was actually taking a class in high school. I needed to pick up a little extra classes so I could make sure I graduated. And one of the classes was audio production. And that really introduced me to everything producing. Started with, Logic? Logic. And then from there, after I graduated high school, I was going to college, bought me a laptop. And on my free time, I started making beats. And I did that for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And then in September of 2021, last year, I was just sending out beats. I sent beats to the boy. And he ended up calling me a couple weeks later, and that really kicked off everything. That's when I started taking everything serious, locked in with XO. And from there, it's just been on go.
That's good. So how did all 3 of you guys meet? Like, how did that situation come apart?
Okay.
So, before XO speak, me and XO been knowing each other for probably about at the very least 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you go to middle school in 12th grade, so we met in middle school. I mean, not 12th grade. I'm
6th grade.
tripping. You go to middle school in 6th grade, but you go to middle school at 12 years old, is what I meant to say. So we've been knowing each other since 12. I actually just met GB for the first time today, but I've been hearing about him since me and XO really got back tapped in and connected. And I've been hearing a lot of great things. And, you know, obviously, you know, if it's a real situation, it don't matter how long you ain't talked or how long you ain't been connected with a person. So me and XO, we never fell off or nothing like that. We just literally didn't talk. Our paths, our life paths went different ways. And the first day we talked for like 4 or 5 hours on the phone. I could be exaggerating, but it was a very long time, basically. Like, and we just was trying to catch up, and everything clicked from then. And, you know, that's real love. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell niggas I love them or care for them just to say it. So once we talked, most of our conversation was about God. And I think that was very powerful and very, very, like, an intimate situation that God was, you know, ordaining for us to reconnect and stuff like that. So when he told me about GB and stuff like that, I was just excited to meet him. And he came all the way out here from Denver just to, you know, kind of aid him and everything that they got going on. And I'm just super supportive. And that's why I really wanted y'all, the people who's watching and you guys behind the cameras, to meet them, because I really believe in certain people, and I don't do things in vain. When I believe, and that's how I move.
That's
and then they can tell you their own experiences, but that's just my experience.
Facts.
But before you guys go, what's next for each of y'all? I know Garren's got the album. What's next for you two?
Me and GB, we actually working on a collaboration album right now. It's called Made Different. We had a date, but we didn't. You know, I done been getting blessed with new opportunities, man, and thanks to Garren, he been walking me in some rooms that you know, I didn't think I'd be in, especially no time soon. So, you know, by the grace of God, you know, I've been getting a chance to network with some different people and really be able to see this project that I'm producing from a different angle. So, you know, I don't have a date right now. I know for sure it's gonna be no later than September, man, and it's gonna be crazy for sure. It's gonna be one for the books, man.
So we just locked in with Poppa XO, working on this album, working on this tape. We're going to get it done soon. Hot producers only, messing with hot producers only, locked in with a lot of new producers. Shout out Wade. Yeah.
So.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate y'all
Thank you for having us, man.
Yes,
look out for all of us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think that one day these moments will add up to something, you know. You know, if you're trying to get to let's say a building got 30 floors in it, you're not wrong if you take one step at a time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some people running up the steps and then falling all the way back down on the 28th floor. But if we take one step at a time and we use these small wins and these small accolades and these small opportunities to help build the story and narrative for where we actually trying to get, when people come back and look at this and they see the support we all have for each other and the respect that we all have for each other, I think that these certain moments, even for you as a platform, it will be something that you can bring back up and say, like, dang, that was XO. You know what I mean? That was GB. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was hot producers only. You know what I mean? Like, it was Garren. Like, and I just thank God for giving us these opportunities to be able to express ourselves. For real.
That's dope. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, man.